There are three things that must be a part of any positive thinking for the Christian. One, the Word of God. Two, noble examples. And three, self, effort, and discipline. So we have the Word of God, that which you have learned, that which you have received, noble examples, that which you have heard and seen, and what now is the effort and the discipline? Practice. A Christian is a disciple of Christ.
Right.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
right? In other words, you have been disciplined. That's the idea. But notice what Paul has said now. You have been trained in your mind. But now notice what Paul says. You have received it. In other words, what Paul is suggesting is that you have accepted this body of truth that I have taught to you. So not only have you been discipled, disciplined, trained as a student, you have accepted a tradition that has been delivered or passed down to you. He says, then having learned it, having been trained, having been schooled, then you are now, having been schooled, having been trained, having been discipled or disciplined in your mind, you are going to accept, you have accepted the traditions, not man-made, the God-given traditions that I have passed on to you. What then is your obligation, Philippians? Practice them.
Yes.
So from you learned it, you accepted it because it was true. I taught you the truth. You accepted it as truth. Then therefore go and practice. But isn't this what preaching is all about?
Yeah.
You teach. Truth is learned and accepted as truth. Then we're called upon to practice. That's what Paul is saying here to them.
Mr. Eddie?
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 11:1-2, being imitators of me as I imitate Christ. And he says, now I praise you because you remember me in everything and hold firmly to the tradition just as I delivered them to you.
Exactly. And that is why he says good. And that is why he says that which you have seen in me. This is the life that you have seen in me. This is what I want you to imitate. All right. So he says, what is Paul doing? And here is another 3-pointer sermon that you can develop. What Paul is doing in this section, verses 8 to 9, Paul is saying this is how you are going to develop the power of positive thinking. There are three things that must be a part of any positive thinking for the Christian. One, the Word of God. Two, noble examples. And three, self, effort, and discipline. So we have the Word of God, that which you have learned, that which you have received, noble examples, that which you have heard and seen, and what now is the effort and the discipline? practice.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Seriously, I was thinking about the application of being in the ark and
Mhm.
the illustration of them cleaning and feeding the animals. Everybody had to participate in that. Um, Rather, the smell that we could exist in the ark with all those different type of animals, they had to deal with endure, but they all had to apply themselves to work in the ark in a fashion where they couldn't throw one another out of the ark, they couldn't hurt one another in the ark. They had to work together. Um, and so I'm thinking about this illustration here that Noah taking the lead and helping the family to feed, to care for, because it didn't mean that every animal uh, in those time frames that over a year that the animal may not got sick or the animal may not have her. I don't know, but I'm just in the illustration. I'm thinking about our care for one another in the church should be such a consistent practice that it's that's just the norm. We should
That it
care
becomes
for
second
one
nature. That
another.
it
Again?
becomes second nature.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah, and that is what Paul is saying to them. Do you want the peace of God to reign in your hearts? Then this is the formula. All right. Now look at verses 10 through to 20 now, where he is going to conclude his teaching. And in this section, he is going to move away from exhortation, and he's now going to talk about what he's thankful for.